This wood was probably a couple thousand years old. So rings in the tree, each of this tree's 2,000 rings. This wood was probably a couple thousand years old. This wood was probably a couple thousand years old. A couple thousand years old.
Thank you for calling the Gibson Garage. This is Kale.
My grandson was showing me a video on the YouTube from a guy named Ford Thurston. You know him?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. He a studio guitar player, so you may not. Yeah. Anyway, he had a ES-335 from 1959. It's a nice guitar. Now, he said in this video that this guitar had wood in it that was 2,000 years old.
Okay.
You got a guitar like that out there? Because I heard his guitar sound real good with that 2,000-year-old wood in it, and I want me one.
Yeah, we're not going to have any wood quite that old.
Did you, in 1959, you used 2,000-year-old wood, but you don't know more?
I don't believe that was ever part of our production, but we do have guitars from our custom shop right now. That's a recreation of exactly how they were coming out of the factory in 1959.
So they do make them out of 2,000-year-old wood or no?
I don't believe so. I haven't heard that before.
What's up? We got a debate. Okay. Tom is finally going to come forth with some real points on this debate, this question of this legendary Les Paul. The Les Paul that I'm saying doesn't sound that good. Now, in the past, Tom he's all over the place. He said, you've heard some of the crazy stuff he said. I mean, I'm not making it up. This is what he's saying. It's insane. It's crazy. It's delusional, psychotic, deranged. But today, we're going to debate. Now, listen, Tom makes some comments, and Tom makes very immature comments. The guy is not, he's a head case, okay? So if you haven't read them here, just listen to this. Add to the list of lies you've been telling your very small congregation of viewers that are joining you in this ridiculous class war disguised as a debate over vintage guitars. No, Tom, this is a debate over vintage guitars, and we're about to get into a real debate here, but this is a debate, okay? It's not a class war. See, Tom wants to make it a class war because guess who's on the upper side of the class war with the 58 guitar, thinking he's better than everybody. That's right, Tom. You've only had in your hands one real burst in your life. True. You clearly admitted that to me. Yeah, I did. Absolutely. But that didn't stop you from starting the most ridiculous, ill-founded crusade in recent memory, trying to bash the most iconic guitar of all time. See, he thinks I'm on a crusade. I'm not on a crusade. I am breaking down the lies, the myths, the bullshit surrounding this guitar. And it ain't a crusade, Tom. It's not a crusade. Submission. Gus, see, this is where the immaturity comes in. This guy is so immature. Gus, you got to be a real guitar player to even tell the difference between a great guitar and an average one. See, he's insulting me. He never brings up. If you watch the video, I put in sound examples that Tom could have easily said, well, that sound example wasn't that good, whatever. Never addressed it once. He says, well, you got to be a real guitar player to even tell the difference between a great guitar player and an average one. It's immature, Tom. You're avoiding the point. But I'm going to get you today because we're going to have a debate, which is where your personal problem lies. Well, that and the fact that people think you are a child molester that lives in your mom's basement, which explains a lack of views and poor audience engagement. It's all related, Gus. Now that's low. I mean, that's low. That is disgusting. And some of Tom's buddies have come on this channel and said, you're a sexual predator and you need to be in the sexual predator registry and, you're a child molester, something kitty. And I'm just, hey, man, I mean, that is low. That is disgusting. That is sickening, Tom. That's actually beyond immature. That's despicable. It's just something that, no, absolutely not, Tom. No, absolutely not. So we're going to get into a debate now. Guys, before we get started here with the debate, I just have to kind of like tell you who I am and who Tom is, what side's what. You ever heard the term us against them? I'm us. Okay. Now, this guy, Tom Bukovac, we really don't know that much about him. So here at Burst Believer Fever, we did some investigating. And this is the real Tom Bukovac here.
You know Tom Bukovac?
I'm not familiar.
Oh, you don't know his name, Tom Bukovac. You know him?
No, man.
Oh, what?
I'm not familiar.
You never heard of him?
No, sir.
You know Tom Bukovac?
No.
Tom Bukovac. You know who he is?
I do not, sir.
Oh, you don't know Tom Bukovac?
No, I'm not familiar, sir.
You know Tom Bukovac?
No.
Tom Bukovac. You know Tom Bukovac?
I'm not familiar with him.
You know Tom Bukovac?
Of course I know Tom. Honey, he's my best customer.
You know Tom Bukovac?
Of course I know Tom. He's one of my regulars.
I am representing the side that these guitars, the 58, the 59, the 60, the Golden Era Les Pauls, are not that great. They're not that good. And here's my first point. I collect records. I love records. Okay. This is a first edition John Coltrane record. First time this ever was printed is right here, 1966. I paid $50 for this record. Okay. There's a price tag, $50. Okay. This record, you can find this record for $6. You can find this record for $10. You can find this record for $12. You don't have to pay $50 for this record. I bought the first edition. Just like these guys go back, right? They buy the first one with the double coils, the first Les Paul standard, the first bursts, right? They say it's collectible. That's why it's so expensive, right? But I'll never tell you this is the greatest pressing of this record ever made. This is not the greatest pressing of this record ever made. This is not the greatest sounding pressing of this record ever made. See, that's the difference between me and you, Tom. I will tell you point blank, there's been millions of pressings of this record that sound as good or better than this one. Okay? Millions of them. Now, I'm telling you, Tom, just like this record, it's a collectible record. Collectible. But it's not the best sounding version of this record, not the best pressing of this record ever made. Just like I'm telling you, Tom, your 58, your 59, your 60 is not the greatest Les Paul ever made. There have been literally millions of these guitars, millions of them made that sound as good or better than your guitar. So go ahead and answer that point, Tom. Address that.
You can't even play guitar.
Wait, what?
You can't even play guitar.
Okay, Tom. The second one. Here's my second point, Tom. Your guitar, Baby Puke. Your guitar that you named Baby Puke. And there's a rumor going around that it's because it looks like the color of baby puke. And that is not true. You said you named it Baby Puke because if you scratch the plastic on these vintage Les Pauls, if you scratch it, it smells like puke because of the formulation of the plastic. It smells like baby puke. So that's why you called your guitar Baby Puke. Understandable. Okay. But the part that I don't agree with is you're claiming Baby Puke is made of old growth mahogany. And that makes it better than any modern day guitar or any guitar made with new growth mahogany. Okay. Now, I pointed out, I've said it before, I'll say it again. You don't know what section of your tree, what section of the board your guitar was made from. It could have been made from a section that's not as dense, not as tight, not as old as the bottom of the tree or the dense part of the tree. You can't tell sonically old growth mahogany from any other mahogany. Okay? I don't care how old the mahogany. If the mahogany is from 71, if the mahogany is from 80, the mahogany is from 90, the mahogany is from 2015, you can't tell the difference sonically. You cannot tell the difference sonically. If I gave you a blind test, Tom, sonically, you could not tell the difference between the wood in Baby Puke and the wood in a modern day Les Paul. Now, what do you have to say to that?
I love Baby Puke. I love Baby Puke.
Run that by me again.
I love Baby Puke.
All right. Okay, Tom. Here's my next one. My third point. You always say that this Brazilian rosewood on the neck, these old 58, 59, say they're all made with Brazilian rosewood. And that Brazilian rosewood is it's the best. It's the greatest thing. Okay, Tom, listen. Okay. You can buy a guitar with Brazilian rosewood on it right now. You can have the custom shop make you a guitar with Brazilian rosewood on it. They make reissues right now with Brazilian rosewood on it. You ever heard of Slash's Brazilian Dream? Yeah, it's called a Brazilian Dream because it has Brazilian rosewood on the fingerboard. You can still get it. Jason Isbell, your buddy, Red Eye. It has a Brazilian rosewood fingerboard. They have Brazilian rosewood at the custom shop. They can put it on your guitar. You can get it. So if I have a modern day Les Paul with a Brazilian rosewood fingerboard on it, what's the difference? What's the difference? Go ahead. Tell me, Tom.
Brazilian rosewood makes you gay.
What, are you serious?
Brazilian rosewood makes you gay.
What?
Brazilian rosewood makes you gay.
All right. Okay. Here's my next point. The PAF pickups. You always, the claim is these PAF pickups are so great. They're the greatest sounding pickups ever. Okay. The greatest sounding pickups ever. Tom, people right now can make a PAF pickup that sounds literally exactly like an old PAF and feels like it when you're playing it. There's a guy with Rewind Electric. His name's James. He can make a dead-on copy of this pickup. There's what's it, Tyson Tone. He can make a dead-on copy of this pickup. He can make a modern day pickup sound exactly like a PAF. Mojo UK, they make one that's a dead ringer. What about Throwback? They make a great PAF pickup. What about Tone Specific? Tone Specific makes a great sounding 1959 pickup. There's so many people. Stevens Designs, so many people that can make a dead-on copy of a PAF pickup in the modern day, Tom. So go ahead. Tell me about why your PAF pickup is so much better than a modern day pickup. Go ahead.
You have magnets. Magnets get old. They sound better dead.
What?
You have magnets. Magnets get old. They sound better dead.
What?
I love baby puke.
All right, Tom. Here's my last point. Tone pots. Okay. The tone pots and the volume pots in your guitar are the most simple things you could ever. They're the most simple electronic device you can ever make. It's a wiper over a strip of carbon. So to somehow believe that in the modern day, you could not produce a wiper going over a carbon strip, like it's almost like you can't be serious. A tone pot is a wiper, something that goes like this. It's a piece of metal that goes over a carbon strip, and it goes, and your guitar changes from a wiper going over a carbon strip. It is the simplest device in the world to build if you're into electronics. Okay, Tom? So it's not hard for anybody in the modern day to produce a tone pot, period. But if you really get into it, there are guys that can 100% make a tone pot that sounds exactly like a vintage tone pot, Tom. What do you got to say to that?
My buddy Jason is Bell and I agree. You must have moisture in your tone pots for them to sound good, to sound better than yours.
Huh?
You must have moisture in your tone pots for them to sound good, to sound better than yours.
You got truckers on coke, you got pit bulls and bee, you got moisturized tone pots, you got freeway porn shops, you got Brazilian rosewood makes you gay. You got $350,000 you gotta pay. You got 2,000-year-old wood, you gotta play a beat up guitar just to sound good.
I love baby puke.
All right, guys, that's it. I'll see you next time.